guys, what is up? This will be the next in the How to Lucid Dream series, and it'll just be a quick video, but if you're anything like me and your experiences mimic my own, it'll be an incredibly important one. And that is primarily because lucid dreams are never long enough, especially when you're very first starting out. When I was first learning how to lucid dream, I could be dreaming for what felt like hours, and then the moment I became lucid, it would just all start slipping away. I would lose control and I'd be awake within seconds, and it was so incredibly frustrating because I was doing all this preparatory work during the day, and I was, doing these reality checks every hour on the hour, and I was reading books about it and watching YouTube videos and trying to just saturate my mind with the idea of lucid dreaming, and I was keeping a dream journal. And then the moment I had just this small fragment of success, it was just gone within seconds. So that's problem number one. Second problem is that once I learned to maintain this state a little longer, I found that I would gain lucidity, and over time that lucidity would decrease, and eventually I would just be back in a normal dream again. So don't know if anybody else experiences that, but that was a consistent problem for me for a while. So fortunately, there are fixes to both of these problems, and this is called maintaining and deepening. So the very first thing to say is that what I found will provide me the longest lucid experience without losing that lucidity and dropping back into the dream state is to immediately, the moment I become lucid, deviate from the predefined dream scenario. So when you're dreaming, you're always participating in some kind of storyline or scenario. The moment you become lucid, change tracks, go do something else, create a new storyline. If you're, grocery shopping, break down a wall, run out into the parking lot and steal a car or fly away or something just completely opposite from the storyline that you've been previously following. And this tends to really extend the length of the dream, and it prevents me from slipping back into that predefined scenario. All right, so once you've done that and you've started creating your own storyline, the next thing to do is to deepen the experience, and this is done through engaging your five senses. So the easiest thing to do that I found is that I can just look around and immediately just start picking anything that I see up or feeling anything that's around me. Pick up things, feel things, look at them closely, feel them from every angle, feel the inside, the outside, and don't stay on one particular object too long. Pick something up, feel it, move, put it down, move on to the next object, do the same thing. And this is something you just have to do periodically throughout the dream, I found. I found that I'll start to lose clarity, and then I'll just go about this process again and just regain that clarity, and then I can continue on with what I'm doing. All right, so if you're touching objects and you're still feeling like you're losing this control and you feel like you're slipping out of the dream, I found a couple of things that do a really good job of anchoring me back in quickly. The first thing is, actually I got this from somebody else, is spinning in a circle, and I found that that works really well. I think it probably does a mixture of distracting your mind from the idea of waking up, and it also just engages your senses very well as you feel that spinning sensation, and it feels like you just get anchored right back in and everything just becomes clear. So if you haven't tried that, try spinning in a circle. If that doesn't work, I found that I made up a technique that seems to work very well, and I use actually fairly regularly. And this is, I will just dive face first onto the floor and start doing, like a snow angel, like the kids do in the snow. Start waving my arms and my legs on the floor and rub my face all over the floor, run my fingers through the carpet, and I try to engage as the largest surface area of my body as I possibly can with this floor. And the mixture of the sensation of falling to the floor face first, and then that immediate interaction of my entire body just seems to really solidify the experience. So kind of a strange one, but give that a try. All right, so that's the sense of touch. I've had some interesting experiences with singing to myself in a dream to engage my sense of hearing. I actually read somewhere that you can recite poetry or talk to yourself or things like that to try to maintain that lucidity. I thought I would go ahead and try to sing. So I tell you, I have sang the most incredible music in my dreams, and when I wake up, I can't even remember how the song goes, what the words were, or how even the tune went, but I tell you, it was amazing. So sing to yourself, another auditory type one. William Buhlman talks about using the command clarity now or light now, or demanding lucidity, basically. So when you feel like you're slipping out of lucidity, just demand clarity now. And if you can say it with enough intent and demand that clarity, I've had that work for me a few times. I've also had, commands like light now immediately light up a really dark environment. So now it looks like it's daytime. So I would use that even if I'm lucid, if the environment's not the way I want it to be, I've been able to change that environment just by demanding that it change. So that's something else to keep in mind. Um, Other senses, taste, I really don't have a sense of taste in lucid dreams. I've tried multiple times eating things. I have a vague sense of texture on my tongue, so that works all right. But I primarily stick to the sense of sight, touch, and sound. So one more thing I'll mention, and this kind of had me stuck for a little while because I've never been good at teleporting in astral projections or in lucid dreams. I always travel in the same way that I travel in physical life. I run or I fly or I walk or whatever. And granted, it's much faster in a dream and I get from point A to point B much more quickly. But what I found is that if I'm walking a long distance or flying a long distance, what I would find is that I would lose lucidity during the trip and I would actually fade out of that dream while I'm running from one place to another. So I found a fix for that as well. If I'm running, I'll actually have my hands behind me, hanging down on the ground, and I drag my hands on the concrete or through the grass or against the trees or along a fence or something while I'm running to continue maintaining that interaction with my physical senses to keep myself lucid. If I'm flying, I do the same kind of thing. I purposely run through trees. I purposely run my hands along rooftops, slap chimneys or whatever as I'm flying by. And then that seems to maintain that lucidity as well when you don't have something immediately around you that you can just pick up and interact with. All right, so that is maintaining and deepening. Really not a lot to it. It's an easy practice. It's an easy thing to do, but incredibly important if you want to make those experiences last as long as possible and have them be as clear as possible during the experience. So if you've got additional techniques or methods, I would love to hear what they are. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, help me build this community, and I will talk to you guys again soon.